All right, I'm happy to be speaking to Cobi Blumenfeld-Gantz. Did I say it right?
That was perfect.
Close enough. Okay, perfect is even better. He's the co-founder and CEO of Chapter, which is an independent Medicare advisory service. Now, the first thing, we just met 15 seconds ago. How
That's
old
right.
are you?
I'm 36. I look like I'm 20, but I'm actually
Okay,
36.
you're 15. What does Medicare have to do with your life? You're very
Uh,
young.
Sometimes more than I'd like.
How did you
Um,
get into this? I mean, really?
yeah, I saw my parents navigating the process, the Medicare process, and that's how I initially got exposed to it. Actually, initially it was my grandfather because my grandfather was living with my parents and me when I was in high school.
Hmm.
But a few years ago, I just got really upset at seeing my parents go through the process and how complicated it was for them. And I don't come from healthcare or insurance background. I worked at a technology and data company, and I just thought the whole process made no sense. There are a lot of data challenges in Medicare that my parents were going through, and it's just like, why is the system like this? And wanted to do something about it.
So, what did you discover about the system first before you got into remedying it for people?
The incentives are really misaligned, is probably the most obvious thing I saw at the beginning. Most Medicare brokers are incentivized to push plans that pay them more. So
Mm.
the reality is when any consumer talks to a Medicare advisor, even if they're quote unquote independent, they're actually agents of the insurance carrier, not agents of the consumer. So that was
Meaning they get a kickback?
meaning they get a kickback, and worse than that, they don't even have access to all the Medicare options. They only look at the plans that pay them the most.
How did you find out this information about the kickbacks? And
Um, it took a lot of digging. I had to basically mystery shop or go talk to a lot of different Medicare brokers because I actually don't think it's malicious. I think they're ignorant. They don't know when you ask them, do you look at every option? Almost every one of them to a T will say, yes, I look at every option. And then you say, wait, but what about, this insurance carrier? And they say, oh, not that one. And they say, well, what about this insurance carrier? Oh, not that one. But every option.
that seems malicious to me. All right.
Yeah.
But I'm from Brooklyn.
Sometimes. Yeah.
So, did you finally help your parents get the right Medicare?
I did. They were chapter members one and two. They're the first two chapter members,
And
and
how did you
yes.
come up with the name Chapter? I mean, it doesn't sound anything like Medicare.
Well, that's partially deliberate. We really think about ourselves as much broader than just a Medicare platform. We want to help people live the best chapter of their lives, which is where the
Oh.
name comes from. And we are building technology products that help people throughout retirement. Medicare is the starting point. We're rolling out a financial platform later this year, but today we've been really focused on Medicare because it's such a hard, complex piece of the puzzle to solve.
Well, since you didn't know anything about it, but you do have a tech background, right? So,
Yes.
how did you put that together? How does one actually physically do what you did? Get all the carriers?
Yeah.
How did you do
Uh,
that?
it's really at its core, it's a data problem. And so you have to get information about Medicare plans from a lot of different places. There's no good source of information for Medicare plans. So
Hmm.
you have to go to a lot of different websites, a lot of different databases. You have to buy some data, you have to scrape some data, you have to go get partnerships with different organizations. And then you have to use software engineering to bring it all together and make it make sense. A Medicare plan is a combination of lots of different data elements. It can be what doctors are in network, what do prescriptions cost at a given pharmacy. It can be what's your hearing aid cost, what's your dental benefit. And so there's dozens of benefits, and you have to be able to make sense of that information, and then be able to do that across tens of thousands of options in a way that makes sense because no one's going to be able to go through that many options themselves.
Well, when you have the folks talking to my listeners who are going to be calling in, how do they know all of this? Or is it just they can use the databases you put together? How does this
Exactly. So
work?
we've built a lot of technology for our Medicare advisor. So we employ Medicare advisors. They're full-time employees. We train them, we get them licensed, and we build a lot of software for
What
them to be.
license is that?
There's a couple different licenses, but it's an accident and health insurance license is the technical
Mm.
term. But it's a
Hmm.
federal license and state components of the license to be allowed to help people with Medicare.
So, did you find your parents a better plan before or after you started the company?
I found them a better plan before I started the company, but they became on our sort of platform when I started the company. Yeah.
And you said you were going to build into other things. What do you have in mind, if I may ask?
Yeah, we can give a sneak preview. We're not quite launching, but at a high level, we know everything about someone's healthcare today, what they should be spending on their healthcare. But today we don't know exactly what they do spend because we don't have access to people's financial data.
Right.
And we want to make sure that people aren't overcharged. So we're going to be rolling out a financial intelligence platform to monitor all spend and make sure that people aren't overcharged, making sure that their doctors are billing them the correct amount, seeing if there are ways that they can save on their prescriptions, making sure that they don't have double Netflix subscriptions and they aren't overpaying for these things. And in aggregate, this stuff adds up, especially when you're living on fixed income.
Even if you're not.
Even if you're not.
Sure. I guess I'm going to have to call. I'd
Please.
like to have all that checked up on because I'm sure I'm double doing something.
Most people are inadvertently paying for a lot of things they don't need to be paying for, and that's what we're really trying to minimize.
So when do you start that? Because I'm going to call in.
Please, I'll send you a note, but we're probably going to launch it later this year, probably in September.
Okay, I'd love for you to use me as a test case.
Thank you. I certainly will take you up on that.
And then people can know the dumb stuff I've done and not repeat me.
Yeah. No, it's not dumb at all. It's just very complicated. The entire system we've set up for people when they're navigating retirement and health insurance and Medicare is really Frankenstein. It's been cobbled together over decades, and there's really no way someone can solve it themselves.
And do you have friends who are invested in this with you?
I do, yes.
Are they people you went to school with?
Yeah, I started the company with one of my closest friends from college, and then another friend that I got introduced to via another individual I'm very close with. And I'm very fortunate today to work with some of my closest friends, both as actual teammates day to day, as well as some of our investors are very close friends. So it's been a pleasure building the company as well.
Yeah, frankly, as a psychotherapist, that impresses me because it means you can connect with people beautifully and there's loyalty in your heart. And it's interesting talking to your people behind the scenes when we were getting ready to take you on as a sponsor, because I said, hey, if they're not getting commissions, what motivates them? And what she said was amazing. Do you have any idea what she said?
I know what she should have said. I don't know what she did.
Tell me that, and I'll tell you that. Tell me what you think.
She should have said, and what I assume she said, is that we're really here to solve the systemic problems in Medicare, and the only way to do that is to align incentives. So we blind all of the economics from our team and make sure that our team is only incentivized to do what's right for each consumer.
That's what she said.
Great.
And it impressed the hell out of me. I wasn't expecting that. Because, when you talk to people about business, it's always the bottom line. And fortunately, the sponsors that we have on the program have a better philosophy. But she did that. And I said, but what is it? She said a little more. She said, I said, if it's not money, what's going to do it, huh? And she said, it's a wonderful work environment. And everybody who has this job really wants to do good for people. Basically, that's a paraphrase, but almost a quote. That was really impressive.
I appreciate it. I mean, it's true.
I caught her hard. I mean, I just jumped at her. Yeah. So what's the incentive? And so it was something she said that she's living. She didn't have to come up with it.
Amazing.
So you must have a great environment for your employees and your friends.
Try.
Yeah.
We try. I mean, we're very fortunate. Every person who works at Chapter could work literally anywhere. They could work at Facebook, they could work at Google, they could work at OpenAI. They can get a job anywhere they want. We have an exceptional team. They work here for the mission and for the people. And
that's correct.
Yeah.
I love that. That's so rare. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you today.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And I will be in touch as I want to make sure. I mean, I have a business manager who takes care of these things, but I make sure I have the right Medicare. So I'll contact you, okay?
Please do. We'd be honored.
Thank you very much, Cobi. Hugs to everybody.
Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.